Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about rounding decimals. The one strategy we're going to focus on most is using number lines in order to do our rounding, but we'll also take a look at a different strategy as well. For a quick review, let's take the number 45,629. Okay, and we want to round to the nearest thousand. So if I'm rounding to the nearest thousand, I'm going to remind myself here. And then I need to underline the place value that I'm rounding to remind myself of my goal. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the number next door. Because if the number next door is 5 or higher, we round up. If that number is 0 to 4, we round down. So what does this mean exactly? This means that the place value that we're rounding to, this one is going to go up. So that means that that 6 is going to turn my 5 into a 6. Everything after the thousands place is going to be a 0, but everything before the thousands place stays the same. Now, you might be asking, well, Ms. Pike, I don't understand how this works, so let me show you using a number line. Now, I know that the current number I'm working with is 45,629, and I'm rounding to the nearest thousand, so I need to be focusing on the thousands place. I'm going to start on this side with the smaller number of 45,000, because the next thousand would be 46,000. I need to place my number on this number line. I'm going to start by finding my median. My median is my middle number. So I'm going to place 45,500, because 45,500 is in the middle between 45,000 and 46,000. Now, 45,629 is going to be, I'm going to estimate, we do, let's see here, 45,500, 45,600, 45,700, 800, and 900. So we could even label 45,600, 45,700, 45,800, 45,900 to 46,000. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to label, because 45,629 is just a little over halfway. So if I mark that halfway point, I'm going to go up just a little bit more and mark my A as 45,629. Now looking at this spot, I need to decide, is 45,629 closer to 46,000 or 45,000? If I know that 45,500 is my midpoint and my number is after it, that means that I'm going to round to the next thousand, which is exactly what we got here. All right. Now let's move on to our decimals. If I have the number 0 and 64 tenths, I'm going to round to the nearest tenth. That means that I'm going to underline my tenths place, and I'm going to look at the number next to it. To help you understand this, again, we're going to draw a number line. I'm looking at tenths, so 0 and 6/10 and 0 and 7/10 are going to be my focus. I know that my midpoint is 0 and 65/100. Now I need to place this point. So I'm going to think about this, and I'm thinking that, maybe 64/100 is probably going to be about here. So I'm going to put my mark, I'm going to put A. Now, if we use the traditional rounding format, I know that 4 is going to cause this to round down. So I'm even going to help myself by rounding down to that 6/10. Because this is 4, it is not going to change our 6. So our number is going to become 0 and 6/10 or 60/100, which is the exact same thing. Let's look at one more example. I have 0 and 96/100 that I am rounding to the nearest tenth. And this is where most students get very, very confused, which is why we're going to take a moment to look at it. Because if our number line, I have to squeeze it in here. If we have our number line, we would start at 9/10, but 9/10 after that, we end up with 1. Because you can't, once you raise this 9, it's going to become a 0, which means that we're going to carry over into that 1's place. So I'm going to find my midpoint. My midpoint is going to be 0 and 95/100. I'm rounding to the tenths place. And 96/100 is going to be about here. Yet again, I look next door and I see, oh, this is 5 or higher, which means this 9 is going to have 1 added to it. But that means that we have to do something a little bit different, because that 9 cannot be a 10 in that 1 place value. So if this is going to have 1 added to it, we would technically, just like we would add always, 1 plus 9 is 10, so we leave our 1's and we carry the 10's. So that 1 plus nothing turns into a 1, which means that our final number becomes 1 and 0/100, because that A is closer to 1. Now, just to give a couple of you some help, because maybe the number line confuses you, and that's okay. Let's take a look at a different strategy using a rounding wrap that I've used in the past. The example is going to be 1 and 472 thousandths. And I want to round to the nearest hundredth. So the first thing I'm going to do, find the place value and circle that digit. Move to the right and underline it. Get it? 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. So following my rounding wrap, if this number is 5 or higher, then my 7 has 1 added to it. If it's 0 to 4, my circled number stays the same. So in this case, since the number in the thousandth place is less than 5, meaning that it's between 0 and 4, my 7 is going to stay the same. So I'm going to come below it and I'm going to rewrite that 7. Okay, and then I'm going to add all of my other place value slots. So we found the place value and circled that digit. Move to the right and underline it. Get it? 0 to 4, circle stays the same. 5 to 9, add 1 is the game. Now flex your muscles like a hero. All digits to the right change to 0. All other digits will remain the same. Now you're a winner in the rounding game. So using that strategy is one option. And if you look in the Google Classroom, you will find the rounding wrap attached there for your reference, just in case you like that strategy better. But I am still going to show you on the number line. Now, if I'm rounding to the nearest hundredth, it's at the very least going to be 7/100ths. So I'm going to start with 1 and 47 hundredths. The next number up would be 1 and 48 hundredths. The midpoint between that is going to be 1 and 475 thousandths. If working in thousandths makes it easier for you, you can add that 0 onto the end. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, my number is 1,472 thousandths, which is before our midpoint. I'm going to put it, let's see here, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. So there's 71,000, or 1 and 471 thousandths, 1 and 472 thousandths. My number is closer to 1,400, or I'm sorry, 1 and 470 thousandths. Everybody makes mistakes, right? I get tongue-tied even. So that means my number is going to round down to 1 and 470 thousandths. Now, if you look, that's the exact same thing as we got here. Let's look at one more example, just to be on the safe side. I currently have, let's see, 6 and 824 thousandths. I am going to round to the nearest tenth. So following the first part of our rounding wrap, find the place value and circle that digit. Move to the right and underline it. Get it? 0 to 4, circle stays the same. I'm going to rewrite my number, and then I'm going to put spots for all other place values. Now flex your muscles like a hero. All digits to the right change to 0. All other digits will remain the same. Yo, you're a winner in the rounding game. Now let's take a look on our number line. Looking at our tenths place, the smallest this can go is 6 and 800 thousandths. So 6 and 800 thousandths. The next number up on our number line for the tenths place would be 6 and 900 thousandths. My midpoint between 6 and 800 thousandths and 6 and 900 thousandths is going to be 6 and 850 thousandths. Now I need to place our number on our number line. So 6 and 810 thousandths, 6 and 820 thousandths, 6 and 830 thousandths, 6 and 840 thousandths. I'll even turn the paper and I'll write this out. So 6 and 810 thousandths, 6 and 820 thousandths, 6 and 830 thousandths, 6 and 840 thousandths. Now, our number is 6 and 824 thousandths. So it's closer to the 6 and 820 thousandths. So I'm going to put it about here, and I'm going to put my A. Now, if I'm comparing where my point is to the possibility of rounding up or rounding down, obviously I'm closer to the 6 and 800 thousandths, which, just like over here, is exactly what we got. Okay, thank you so much for listening in today, guys, and feel free to ask me any questions if you need any assistance.